12th. It is my birthday. It is my birthday, and what do I most want to do on my birthday? And I say this without a shred of sarcasm. I want to work on my game. I don't want to party. I don't want to go out for drinks with friends. It's not actually that I don't enjoy that. I just already did a fair amount of that recently, and the thing that I want most of all to do on my birthday is work on my game, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it right now in this live coding session of my game in Unity and C#. I'm going to do something which, if I explain it, someone who's not a game programmer, or even a number of game programmers, they would think it's boring. But I don't think it's boring. I don't think it's boring at all. Okay? I'm going to parse an atlas. An atlas is a file that has locations of... well, actually, I'll speak more generally. It has indexes to data, just like a regular... Anyways. Now, this particular type of atlas will be for locations of sprites or parts of graphics that I want to use from a single texture. So right now, I've got... here, let me hit the play button. I always got to do a demo at the beginning of this anyway, so let me hit play. So I've got this head up here. This is like temporary art. This is art that I like, made by Bettina Throckmorton. I didn't steal it. I paid her to make it for me. But it is placeholder. And so I've got not just some artwork, but a rig. In animation terms, a rig is a collection of images or other assets that can be moved around to animate. And there are different parts that go into building out this face. Not too many. There's a base. There is a mouth that goes on top of the base. There are irises, those darker parts of the eyes that go on top of the base, and then on top of the irises goes the eyes, which is like a, you can think of it kind of like a mask. It looks like one of those masks you'd wear at a party to kind of hide your identity, but not really, because it just covers your eyes, like a Lone Ranger mask. That's what it looks like when not everything is combined together. So just those four parts are there. This face is supposed to be shown only when the character that you're controlling is talking. Right now I've got it up all the time. So it's like a temporary visualization of what the character's face looks like when they're talking. So that's it. So I want to put all those images not in 4 textures, but inside of 1 texture. And later on there'll be more pieces that go in there. Like this lady that we're looking at, she'll have different emotions that get depicted with different graphics. So when she's talking, her mouth will open and close, stuff like that. So if I want to combine all these things inside of 1 texture, I could lay them out myself, and then it kind of creates a new problem for me to solve. So I'll show you an example of sprite packing, or image packing, or what's the word I'm looking for? I think it is image packing. Let's go down to Cindy. Okay. So all these parts were put here, and I didn't arrange them. There was an algorithm and a different piece of software that put everything in certain locations, and it was responsible for picking where things would be. If I had a different set of images, it would have tried to pack them differently. It takes parameters to it, like you can tell it how much space do you want between the different parts. You can tell it the maximum size of the image, and it'll use just that size of an image and maybe create multiple images if it needs to. So it figures out all that stuff, but it also generates an atlas at the same time, which is basically a recording of all its decisions in, well, I should say it's recording of all the positions of the individual parts that were a result of its decisions. And that's just a JSON file, which I could show you in a little moment. So because this tool, which is called Spine, has been pretty reliable for me in doing the sprite packing, and because I trust it, and it has all the features I want, I'm going to use it, and I'll have to make a decision if I want to parse the JSON file myself or use the runtime library that's distributed with Spine, which can be imported into Unity to perform the parsing. And I tend to err on the side of writing my own code up until a point. So I'm going to take a look at the JSON and see what it looks like. So this is not the art that I'm going to pull in, but there is a file that goes along with it that I can check out just to kind of evaluate how hard this is going to be to parse. So I had this other tool that was importing the atlas and textures and doing some cool stuff with WebGL to display them. So there's the atlas. So who was I looking at? I was looking at Samantha. So if I open this with, oh, I can't. Okay, nice. Okay, Samantha, Atlas. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to get it. So, format is not JSON, it's something else. So I'd have to write a parser that kind of goes character level into this, thinking about what I actually have to parse. There's this header thing here. And each one of these is a part. I see. These things are like attributes. X, Y, pretty straightforward. Rotate must be like a portrait landscape thing. Width, height, I'm guessing the packing might do some kind of change to the size, and in that case this will be the original size. So I could probably ignore this one. Offset, it seems like on all these it's saying it to 0, 0. Index, I don't know that I would use that for anything. So far the only thing that looks hard is this rotate. Even then it's probably not that hard. I'm just, okay, here's one that says rotate true. So I'm going to take a look. Mouth irritated was rotated according to it. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong image. Let me open up Samantha. This is Cindy. Huh. Okay, so Samantha Ping, opening this up. Okay. So irritated. Let me see if I can find irritated. So one that I know is irritated from memory. Well, you know what? I can find it using the atlas. Let me look at the atlas. Irritated is at 213.161. So let me see. 213, I can see a little ruler up here in the top of Photoshop. 213, and then coming down a little bit, 161. So this is irritated. It's rotated 90 degrees. Counterclockwise. That's pretty straightforward. I think there's even an option if I really don't like the rotation to turn it off. Okay, that's one part of this. I'm also considering if I don't want to use the I might want to use the this other file that comes along with it. It's called let's see, Samantha JSON. So the first file I looked at, the atlas, it says where all the parts are. Can I prettify this? Yeah, unminify it. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So the first one says in the texture, where are all the parts? Where are all the parts? The next one says in the rig, where do all the parts go and how do they relate to each other? So my rig is so simple, this is overkill. Definitely overkill. But the thing that I do like is that the tool inside the spine allows me to specify the positioning of the parts relative to each other in the rig, and this file does contain the positioning. So do I want to parse this in? This looks harder though, I gotta admit. Not that I couldn't do it, but like it just looks like a lot of time. So I'm kind of looking at 3 options now. I better write them out while I can still remember them. Face player. Yeah, this is moot. Atlas options. Let me see. There might be more than 3 options, but the first ones that come to mind are parse the atlas, myself, let's see, reuse spine atlas, right parser. And positioning info to atlas. That's another thing I can do. I can kind of modify the file format a little bit, so it's got the positioning info in it too. It's still relatively simple. So I'll just make a slight variation here, or create a separate file for it. Yeah, that's like option 1B. Okay, number 2. Reuse spine ls right parser. Reuse spine. Let's just call it the JSON file. Right parser. Okay, so that gives me positioning of the parts relative to each other. Number 3. Use runtime to parse Atlas and JSON file. Okay, but perform own rendering. Question: is parsing code easy to use without spine runtime rendering? Because I've kind of like already figured out my rendering, and it's like spine is beautiful, magnificent piece of software. It's actually a bit of a wonder. I could go into it, but I won't right now. But it does so many things, and I've got my rendering figured out already. It like took me like the better part of 3 hours, and that's pretty much done. And I have like complete control over it, so I can change it in many different ways as I go. So it might be a good option to, if I can just pull the data out using the spine runtime library, but not use spine runtime for rendering, and add in their special game objects for the skeleton, etc. That might be a good option, but it sort of depends on how easy it is to get to that code. Number 4. Use spine entirely. They do have some option to do what I want. I read a little bit about it, and I thought it just feels like too much. Look how simple this code is. This is, 15, 20 lines of code right now, just to render everything. That's so simple, and I just feel like I'll spend more time on this than I want to. So yeah, I think those are the main options. Let me just add another one. Number 5. Don't pack the sprite. So basically, if use wasteful but easy to code without Atlas conventions. So instead of bring this back up for reference. So instead of like figuring out an optimal way to put all the images together, what I could do instead is say I'll have like one section off to the left that's for heads, and they go in there, and they're kind of like, they have known column widths, known column heights. They always fit inside those dimensions. And then off over here, there's another section for eyes and mouths, and they all just kind of have a predictable set of dimensions. Thinking about that, almost as the best option now, if I'm honest. The worst thing about it is it's wasteful. It's wasteful of space inside of this texture. But like look at this image though. See all the empty space that's already here? Would I be able to bring the texture size down with packing? And keep in mind the texture sizes, they have specific increments, like 256 pixels by 256 pixels. I mean, how they're stored internally inside of video memory. So if the packing only brings the size down 10% and it doesn't get it down to like the next ka-chunk size of like a video memory supported texture, I've not optimized anything. I've only kind of like pushed everything inside of a space and left a bunch of other space empty. So kind of like looking at number 5 is the best option right now. And if it's not, then I can always come back to it. The reason I like this is because I don't think I'll write much code for it. I think I can put it together. I think I can put it together without writing a lot of code. So it's not like I've traveled far down one path. I can change my direction later on without having that regretful moment where I say, oh, I wrote all that code and now it's just gone, it's just wasted. Why didn't I just think a little bit harder about using one or the other? I won't do that because I think I'll be done this session writing number 5. Okay, so I know it says parsing an atlas for sprite locations up at the top of the screen, but I'm going to change it to, right now, not parsing an atlas. Haha. Not parsing an atlas for sprite locations. So I don't think I need one. I think I'm going to get away without having one. I think I will just have like a kind of an orderly system of arranging things that doesn't require any packing and tends to work. So to arrive at that, I need to do a little bit of planning. I need to think about, it might be good to think of this in terms of what's a good target size to fit inside of. So if I look at my current textures, I think right now it's just taking up some giant 2048 thing. I kind of have an idea of what I need. So I'll map out the worst case scenario, and I'm pretty sure I can do like a. I think this is going to generate a new class called face sheet. Okay. And it's going to have some different areas to it. But let me think of the requirements for it. Things it must do. So a face sheet, which is like a sprite sheet. That's why I'm calling it a sheet. A face sheet needs to have, worst case, 11 emotions. Let me double check I got the number of that right, because I spent a lot of time thinking about this and playing with it, and I came up with my sort of Dewey Decimal system of emotions for animated characters. And go back to Robot Hole, which was on my archive. Let me just recount these emotions. So Kathy, how many emotions do you have, Kathy? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 11 magic emotions. 11 emotions. Base times 11. Okay. Eyes times 11. Mouth times 11 for emotions. Okay, and then there's the Blair-Visiem system. Let me double check how many I need for those. So it is A, B, C, D. Actually, I went short on the Visiems on these rigs, so I'll go back to my other rigs for a moment to see how many I used for those, and that should be tracked in here. Samantha.json. Okay, so mouth, WQ, that's 1. Oh, mouth. Okay, here we go. Mouth A at 1, mouth consonant 2, mouth E 3, FE 4, L 5, MBP 6, O 7, U 8, WQ 9. So I need mouth times 9 for talking Visiems. Okay. Then I need irises. You just need one of those. Okay, so now if I look at the expected, so now it's like a, it's like coming up with all the seats in a passenger airplane for a certain number of passengers. Let me just see what 1024 looks like. File, no. 1024. 1024. Be nice to get it down to this smaller texture. I could go up to that 2048 one, but I think 1024 will work better. Okay. And I'll put a grid down. Okay, there's my grid. Snap to it, snap to the grid. Okay, cool. Alright. So the bases will take the most. I'm just kind of eyeballing it just to kind of see about how big could they be. Let's make them generously big to start. Let's say that's 1, okay? And I'll take this and go. This is a face. That's a face. There you go. And I'll just combine. No, not a face. That's a base. That's a base of a face, is what I mean. Base of a face. Okay. So now I'll just combine those two. Just doing a little bit of planning here. That's what I'm doing. Rasterize. Combine. Merge. Merge the layers. That's a base. And I'll just duplicate that. Okay. I don't have to get this perfect. Just doing a little bit of spatial planning. Alright, so now I've got 8. Just need 3 more. Stop it. And let's get this one of them. Alright, so that's base, 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 base. And if there was a face here, now I'm just thinking about what's it like kind of a maximal size that the eyes or mouth might take up. So I'm picturing just kind of a big fat face that takes up the whole area, and that's characterized as a giant mouth, for example. So let's say it was 4 by 3. That is a massive mouth. Let's call this a mouth. Okay, let's see. I could go smaller with that probably and get away with it, but I'm trying to be worst case. Mouth times 19. We need 19 of these things. So I'm just going to eyeball this before I just do a bunch of duplicating. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's a little too much, because I still gotta get all the eyes in there too. So let me do like a little bit smaller of a mouth. Okay. Now that, I believe, still has me on the path of fitting everything in. So let's call that mouth. Okay. No, just be done. Be done. Stop it. Just be done. Okay. Rasterize. Merge. Okay. So I need 19 of these fuckers. Duplicate. I'm gonna put them this way because I have a feeling that I'll want wider eyes. I'm just thinking about how it's all gonna fit in. That's 4. Eight. Okay. 16. Okay, and then 3 more. Stop, just stop, just stop, just stop. Okay. Yelling at Photoshop because it's a little bit laggy and weird while I'm broadcasting. And untrustworthy would be another word for it. Okay. So I kind of screwed up a little bit and I made this stuff start drifting down. Let me fix that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to be easy for me to see what's going on space-wise. So let's fix that. Okay. So that's all the mouths and all the bases. Do I have enough room for the eyes? So eyes, I need 11 of them. I'm getting close here. Oh, that's the thing. 11, I think I can fit it. I think I can do it. If not, like, things can be adjusted a little bit and it's gonna work. But I do want the eyes to be able to cover a wider area than the mouth. So let's make the eyes. We'll do different color. So I'm just going to eyeball this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, if I move them off over here, Okay. I was eyeballing it and it was like too close, and I was kind of losing my count and having to go back and recount, so I gave up on eyeballing it. I'm just going to do the test properly. Let's do that. Okay, that's 2. Four. 6. Yeah, stop it. Stop it. Go back to where I put you. Just go back. See, it's like even undo is not working for me. It's really, really annoying. Undo the move. And it puts it in a weird spot. Just stop that. Come on. Okay, there. Now stay. Stay. I'm talking to a dog. Okay. Last 4 eyes. So I'm at 6. I am gonna make it. I am gonna make it. Oh, this is great. With a little bit to spare. So what am I at now? That's 6. This 4 is 10. And I just need 1 more to make 11 for the eyes. And then the last thing I need, which is the same size as the eyes, is irises. Irises. Although I'm a bit inclined to just kind of move everything over like this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's just duplicate this one. And just move it up. And I'll just make a little comment here. Irises. There. Then I won't be confused. Okay, that's it. It packs. It's a pretty simple way to pack it. And there's a hint here that I must be pretty close, because to finding like an optimum solution, even though I'm not packing in the most efficient way, because even though I could go down lower than 1024 in the packing solution, like I could go to maybe 900 by 900 or something like that. In Unity, the next texture that I've got is not 900 by 900, it's 512. And I've got no hope of getting to 512. Really no hope. So this is pretty good. And there's even like a little bit of extra space here. Like if I wanted to, say, give somebody a sunglass sprite where there's a couple of sunglasses that go over the top of it. That's a bad example. Regular glasses, because they're translucent or transparent. Then I could add that here and just have it some special case rendering code draw the glasses over the top of the eyes, and it would all look good. Or if someone had a big nose that went down into their mouth area, I could add like a extra sprite for the big nose there if I wanted, in this little bit of area. But I won't use that most of the time. Okay, so how big is this base area? It is 250 by 250. So thinking about that, is that a good size for what I'm doing in here? Well, let me see what the target size is when I start this thing up. I made the head on the large side. I'm displaying this right now on a pretty big monitor. It's pretty big. So let me think about this. So I instead of starting it and doing a screenshot and measuring the screenshot, I can just figure out the resolution of the monitor. I can't believe how much they've dumbed this down. Hold on. Default for display, and then I just want to know what kind of size that is. Okay, fine. I'll take a screenshot. I'll figure it out from the screenshot. An inelegant way to figure this out, but it won't take long. Okay. Now, my clipboard is 2560. Okay. So if I had a really large display, like this is, what is 2560? Is that into 4K territory yet? It probably is not. But whatever. It's definitely larger than HD 1920 by 1080. So just I'll take that as a representative. I also said that my screen width would be a little less than 10% of that the width of the head would be about 9% of the screen width. So go up a little bit to 10%, and guess what? I'm at 256 width in pixels, and these guys are 250 pixels in width. I'm golden. This is a good size. I planned this out with a fair amount of luck, but I had good luck, and the first guess I made about what size I needed was correct. So I'm gonna go with this. Let me add a little more information so that if I use this as a test image, it's going to give me enough information to see if I've screwed up or not. So we'll go 1, 2, let's make it big. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Come on. Where's my 6? 6. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is wrong with this? No 6, huh? Okay. 7. Can I get a 7? No, you decided for random reasons to stop drawing in the color I asked you to. Weird. I tell you, Photoshop does not do well while I'm streaming. It really doesn't. So let me see. 6. No? I don't know if I can get that. Okay. Oh, we got 5. Let's duplicate that. I'm going a little bit crazy here. What's up? What is up? Maybe there's a layer in front of it all. Is that what's up? I dragged it down. Oh yeah, I'm being stupid. I'm being so stupid. Okay. Go up. And I was blaming Photoshop, and it was me. It was not Photoshop. I owe Photoshop an apology. I thought, like, you know, if I click on something that you might, like, try to go on top of the thing that I clicked on instead of underneath of it. That seemed reasonable. It worked for a while, at least. Okay, how about this? Can I go on top? 8. Yes. Okay. 9. Come on. Alright, this is too slow to go and do all the other ones at you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I would be spending another 10 to 15 minutes just on that. But if I go offline, bam, all this done in like 1 minute. Yeah, maybe 3 minutes. Okay, so good enough for now. save this shit. Face sheet test. Okay, that. And we'll do an export of the whole thing to a PNG. Alright. So, yeah. There it is. There's my new dealy bob. Okay, so what do I want face sheet to be? Do I want it to be a mono behavior? Do I want it to be like a util class where I pass in the material? I kind of think I want it to be a util class, because really what I want to get from it is expected coordinates of parts of the face. Okay. And make some enums that I know I'm going to need. See. I'll probably get like a list of all of these someplace in text form already. Yeah, I'm sure I do. Let me just look that up. It'll be in JavaScript though. Okay, let's take all these. I'm going to leave neutral up at the top, but the rest I'll keep alphabetical. Because neutral is like the default emotion. Okay, so there's my emotions. Might as well get my Visemes in there too. I think I didn't make an enum for the Visemes because I was just using characters to express them. Okay, that's fine. So let's call this Viseme. I gotta remember all of them, or look them up. I had a chart that I made. Let me see if I can reuse that. No, I won't find it there. Okay, that's fine. I already had a convention for this, so it's in here. Okay, so I just gotta grab all those, copy them down here, I guess, for now. So there it is. Actually, I can remember most of them, maybe all of them. We got O, U. There's one for, let's see, consonant A, E, FUVA, O, MPP, U, WQ. Okay, that's 8. I think there's one more. L. I think that's it though. L. Yeah, L. L. Okay. That's the Visemes. And I can do a thing like this. I want to add one more at the end called count. And since it's 0 based, with the first one getting assigned 0, this will equal the number of these here, which will be 9. 5, 4, 9. Same thing with the motion. I can add one more count at the end. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me make this be based on constants. So we'll say so what's my interface? I want to be able to get a rect. Though, is that really what I want? Is Unity rect, is it a struct or a class? Does that matter? I just hate doing a bunch of news to return structures. Okay. I know, it's not that. Okay, so let's see. Public static void base rect, and then I'll pass in emotion. Okay. Going back to my guide here. Yeah, a good way to do this is if I kind of pre-populate everything. So if I've got okay, this is starting to get smarter. Say so those closed mouths, is that right? Yeah, closed mouth recs show based on their emotion. Talking, mouth rex. Show based on the visemes, or the whatever the viseme is it's showing. So correct. Okay, so I think that's it. Then I want okay. That can go away. And this will end up going away. Okay. And these guys become very simple. Oh. Okay, so now I have to assign all the coordinates to these. And this isn't going to be too hard. let's start out in the top left-hand corner. You do a const inside of a function? I don't think you can. Can you? I can't remember. Let's see. So const texture width const int 10x width 24 Yikes. I'm getting a little bit tired, starting to make mistakes. Okay, and we'll say I kind of like this better. CX texture, CY texture. No, that's a better, simpler convention. CX base equals 250, CY base equals 250. And we'll just iterate through the emotions until I've set them all for the base. So for the base we stay equals 0, I less than, god damn. Was a touch typist, but turns out I do need a little bit of light to see the keyboard. It does seem to help me a tiny bit. Damn. Okay. So base rex I equals new rect xy cx base cy base. Let's say that if y plus equals cy base if y greater than equals. Something's wrong though. Something's wrong. I just realized something's wrong. Going back to this. My image here is 1024 by 1024. Let me double check that. Yes. So that means that these guys cannot be 250, because 250 times 4 is 1000, not 1024. So they gotta be, for this to work, they must be a little bit larger than 250. They must be, I think, 256? Yeah, 256. Yeah, that's it. So they're not 250. So even larger than I thought. Okay. It would have to be that way. It would have to be. Okay. So just thinking about this. Where is it going to leave x and y at the end? Do I care? Probably care. I think it'll leave x and y right here at the start of the eyes. Another thing I was thinking, so with the mouths I have, I deleted that count, but let's see, the mouths, it's 10 and 9. No, it's 11. and 9. That would make 20 though. It's 11 emotions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I could put all the emotions in the left column. I could put all the talking in the right. And let me double check. How many talking is there? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, okay. So there's 20 altogether. So I could put 11 on this side, add one more mouth down here, and I should do that. Okay, so my emotions I'll put up here. Alright. So that will start at 256 times 3, which is you know what? I'll just do it this way. CX base times 3, y equals 0. Let's see. So it's half of it, so it's 128. The CY base, it's going to be, let me see, how much is each one of these? 8, 16, 24, 32. No, it's more. It's 16, 32, 48, 64. No. Double that. Okay. 32, 64, 96, 128. Okay, that's it. Okay. So each one of these is 32. So that means it's 64 down. So, talking mouth. Okay. Let me do the eyes. Yes. These are 128 plus 32. 160. Okay. 160. Come on. Come on back. Come on. Okay, 160. Okay, where is X going to be? It's going to be 2. Let's see what the base times. Okay, at 2 and then CY base times 3 puts it here. And let's call this constant y eyes top equals cy base times 3. So if we went off the bottom, okay, so if I rearrange this a little bit, I can put the irises at the very end, and that will mean that I can just take wherever X and Y are at the end of this and use it for the irises. Irises. Right. Blue. Right. This. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's everything. All right. So here's the thing. I gotta go check my phone. I gotta see what time my sweet lady is coming home. Okay. Okay, so I've got all the logic here. I just need to hook it up. Let's go back to face player. Let's give it new texture. Test texture. And try to think like what would be an acceptable proof of this that's not gonna just fuck everything up. I don't want to get into the code that draws a texture taking source coordinates yet. So I'm just gonna, because I know there's a little bit more involved to that. And following the Mr. Meeseeks rule, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew in one session. It's like I would need another hour maybe to get that going properly. But I think I can just step through it. I can just debug it. I can see it's working. And if that happens, then I'll be fine with it. So I'll make a token call to face sheet I don't think all the autocomplete stuff's working right yet. Let me just build. Yeah, so this is what happens. This is what happens when the IDE doesn't do its job. It lets me make a bunch of mistakes, and I have to come back and fix it because the IDE did not syntax highlight for me at all, and that's its fault, not mine. I take no blame, not for that. This is bugging me. I can see it right here. Did I spell it wrong? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Okay. This does not need to be here. It's already been defined. This is plural. This is the wrong variable. Jesus. Pyrex. Is that it? what is it? Iris rect? Yeah, that's fine. Iris rect. Okay. Again, if the IDE was just doing its job, I would have fixed those as I went through. Okay. So, oh, my brain is fading. It's not good. So I want to step through this code, start debugging, and then where face player. Okay. So here I want some kind of token call to face sheet damn it. These are all static, so I don't know what it's complaining about. That should all be fine. Face sheet, and then some kind of emotion, any one of them. Afraid. Okay, rect equals test rect. Okay, now let's force it to build. This kind of stuff just means I'm tired. Oh, Mr. Meeseeks wants to die. Mr. Meeseeks wants to die. Mr. Meeseeks wants to die. Here's my public stack rect, base rect. It's right here. What do you want? What do you want? Oh, well, I found a different error. All of these need to have int rect x, all, every single one. That's not the error it's complaining about. So I have public stack rect, base rect, pass emotion. And this, did I mark this? Why don't just to kind of force the issue, let's make this all a static class. Now, build it. Okay. Let me get the breakpoint going. I better go to... I don't need to actually set the texture to try this. Come on. Okay, here it comes. Alright. So I can just check the logic on this. And I'll call it a victory, even if there's no visible result from it. So, first one should be at 0, 0. Let's take a look. Yep, all good. Okay. Next one should be at 0, 256. It is. Okay. 0, 5, 12. Okay. And then one more for the third entry in this column. I'm at I equals 3. Okay, so 768 Okay, so now it should be back to y equals 0 and x equals 256. Oh, screwed up. This is cx base. Let's see, did I screw up anyplace else? That. Okay, so I'll keep going. I know the bases are messed up, but I just fixed the error. It needs to recompile to double check that, but let me get through here. So it's faster just to do the recompile. Okay. Oh, she's coming home at 10. Okay, that's cool. I got a little more time on this. I'm too tired to bite off more, but at least I don't have to rush this part I'm on. Okay, so let's see if my bug fix resulted in the base rex being correct. So first column, yep, at 0. The second column, yep. Third column, yep, all good. So the closed mouths, they should all start at 760 something. Yeah, 768. Okay. And Y 0. And they're just going to go through and do 64 on each one of them. And this is lengthy. This is very lengthy. Alright, let's do that. Okay. Let us go like that. Force a rebuild. You didn't rebuild. Stop. Start. I guess I'm faulting the compiler for being smart enough to notice there were no changes, but I kind of need it to do something to make it start over again. So let's say x equals 9. Delete that. Come on. Build that shit. Come on. Hurry the fuck up. Okay. So now I can go and look through all the structures. There's a chance That's a good warning. I don't actually need the CX texture. I'll just delete that. Okay, there's a chance that it all worked right the first time. Let's try closed mouths. They should all be at 7. No. Okay, so there's 11 of them. They're all at 768. They go forward by 64 up to 640. That looks right. Talking mouths. It should be, where should it be? It should be over 128, so it started at, oh, that's meaningless. It started at, dang it, 768, and it should go out to, I don't know, 800 something. 768 plus 128. I don't feel like doing the math. Yep, 896 goes forward by 64 each time on Y. That's good. Okay, the eyes. All good. And then the iris rect. It's good. That code works. Mr. Meeseeks can now die. I didn't do anything that looked cool, but I know it's cool. I know it's some good shit. So what it means is this template here, I can reference specific places in that template without having an atlas, because they're just always going to be in the same place. And there's a lot of simplicity to that I think is going to help me. Kamikaze Toy, you are catching me right at the end of this thing. This is my point of victory. But I've got an ability to pop in all my parts that I know I'll need into these slots, and this little utility I just wrote will just go and grab them from these known locations. There's 11 emotions, so I've got 11 base parts here. Got 11 closed mouths, and I've got one for each emotion. Got 9 open mouths, 1 for each Blair Visine, which is an animation convention. And then I've got 11 spots for the eyes, 1 for each emotion, and I've got a set of irises. So when I have different characters, their parts will always be in the same place, and I can easily access them. And it fits inside a 1024 by 1024, which is a good size for a texture. So, Kamikaze Toy, I'm a little bit dead right now. So this is like a template image. I wanted to kind of figure out where I was going to put all the parts of the face. Yeah, I'm just finishing up. I've been going since like 6 or so, and I'm just a little tired, a little bit tired. But yeah, the point of this is that when I have different faces and they all have different animated parts, I'll just put them in the standard set of boxes and positions. But anyways, I'm gonna take off. I hope you're doing well. Sorry our timing didn't like overlap very much tonight, but I'll catch you later. Good luck too. I hope your games or your coding, whatever, you still coding on the same game, or you switched to something else? just curious. I might have just asked that question right when you're like flitting away or something. No. I don't know. You innovated in that game. You made the first game I've seen where you start controlling the other enemies that are fighting you, and at the end of the game you're controlling every single thing in the game. I know that wasn't intentional, but like it cracked me up. I don't know. There might have been like an accidental seed of something good there. Anyways, have a good night, sir. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream. Stopping the stream. Stopping it. Stopping it. Stopping it right now. Stopping it.